show. And this is fucking embarrassing, quite frankly, and it's shameful. You know, especially a nation that prides itself on its strength of character and all these virtuous things, and yet we have a fucking enemy determining policy to the point that we find these ventures that we're playing into in the Middle East. I mean, let's look at that region. We have been the dominant force in that region. Ourselves in Israel, we have been the dominant force. And look at it. It would never be like this if it weren't for our policies, our tax dollars and our policies. And all of this shit that is happening there is by design. None of this is an accident. Some of the objectives that they were looking to achieve with the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan and what we've done to Libya and Syria, some of the objectives haven't quite panned out as well as they would have liked. But for the most part, they've achieved the goal. And the goal, quite frankly, is epitomized in a single document, which I make every opportunity to repeat, and I encourage you to write it down, to remember it, because if you read this one document, which doesn't take that much time to read, you will understand what is happening in the Middle East right now. And it is a document authored by a man named Oded Yanon, O-D-E-D-Y-I-N-O-N, and the document is entitled A Strategy for Israel in the 1980s. And what this strategy lays out is a policy of effectively turning the Arab and Muslim population of the surrounding nations on themselves. This is pre the Balkan conflict, but it's basically a policy of balkanization, of taking Arab states, especially those that have strong Arab leadership, and fracturing it along sectarian lines, feeding into sectarian hatred, and getting the Arab Muslim population to, quote, bleed itself. And the way that they laid out to do this is to effectively support these sectarian, these vicious, virulent forms of what I don't like to call it Islamic. It really pisses me off as a non-Muslim. It pisses me off to see how Islam is characterized, because I have lived in Muslim countries. I've been to Iran 4 times, I've been to Iraq 3 times, I've been to Palestine many times, I've been to Syria, I've been to Egypt. I have lived and experienced the people in these regions, and I'm telling you the truth. Yes, we have differences, but for the most part, we all want the same thing. The idea that these people hate Jews or America or the infidels, and this is sort of a popular thought amongst Muslims, is absolute bullshit. Total, complete bullshit. The idea that the Palestinian Muslim population hates Jews and wants to drive them all in the sea, and that's the root of the problem, and the poor Israelis, they don't have a partner in peace, that is a bullshit dialogue, which is still perpetuated to this day. And having lived in America as an American-born son, I remember just how fucking ignorant I was about the Palestinian-Israeli so-called conflict. And these lies continue to be parroted, but the truth of the matter is that if you visit the Middle East under half reasonable circumstances, and even in really bad circumstances as I have, when I lived in Gaza, they were being constantly attacked, and the kinds of things that people have been through there are beyond what most can imagine. I could tell you the story about the Samuni family, a family I became very close to, who lost 27 family members in Operation Cast Lead back in 2008, 2009, under extreme circumstances. I'm an